Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Handful of Daisy's DIY. If you're new here, I'm Elaine. Thanks so much for stopping by. This week I'm going to be working on a couple of benches I picked up at a yard sale. I'm not going to be working in my workshop this time just because it's packed full of furniture that I need to work on and there's just not enough room. So I'm going to be working in my other garage and I thought I'd take you along with me. So if you're ready, let's get started. Here's a look at the benches we're going to be working on today. I'm going to get started by just brushing off all the cobwebs and the dirt from the bottom. They must have been sitting outside for a while. So I'm just going to give them a good clean. I'm using Dawn degreaser to clean them up really well. I did pick these up at a yard sale for $15 a piece. And they did tell me at the yard sale that they had been stored for a while, so I wanted to make sure I got all the grime off. And I'm going to paint these benches, but the seat on this bench I'm going to tape off because I want to leave that part wood. So I'm just using masking tape. I picked up this masking tape at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to start painting on the bottom. I'm using Dixie, Belle, and Vintage Duck Egg. This is a very popular color in my booth. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a good coat. Now the Dixie Belle paint is pretty thick, so I think it's going to cover pretty well just with one coat. I was a little worried because of the wood that it might bleed through a little bit, but it ended up not bleeding through at all, so I was really happy with that. So once I got the bottom done, I just turned it back up and worked on the top. I just love this color. Like I said, it sells really well in my booth and it's just a really popular color. Now I don't normally pick up anything with the hearts on it because they don't sell as well as they used to. But I'm going to try these out and see how they go. So this paint did end up covering really well. I didn't have to put two coats on, just one. So once I finished that up, as with all of my projects, because I'm impatient, I pulled out my hair dryer and I'm going to dry it up really well. And then I'm going to move on to the second bench. Now I'm going to paint this one the same color in the Dixie Belle Vintage Duck Egg. So while the benches are a little different, where they have different heart cutouts, they are the same size and pretty much identical except for the heart cutouts. So I'm just going to make them matching. Once I finished up with that, I went ahead and pulled the tape off on the seat. And I'm just going to give it a light sand just to smooth it out a little bit. It was a little rough, so I'm using 220 grit sandpaper just to smooth it out. I'm not trying to go down to the grain, and I'm not going to restain it either. I do want these to look a little bit rustic. Then I'm just going to take a wet cloth and wipe back all the sanding dust. And then I decided to wet distress it a little bit as well, just to bring back a little bit of that wood around the edges, just to make it a little worn, or at least look a little worn. And once I finish with that, I'm going to use wipe on poly on these two pieces. I've never used this before, so I'm going to try it out here. So I'm just going to start by pouring it on the seat and then using a sponge to smooth it out. And I ended up really liking how this turned out. It was really easy to work with. The only thing I didn't like is it did discolor the duck egg a little bit. So next time I use this, I'll probably just use it on a darker color. I think it still turned out really well, but like I said, it did discolor it a little bit. But it did go on really smooth, so I like that. And this was a satin. I normally use matte for everything, but the satin turned out really well. And here's a look at how they turned out. Let me know in the comments below what you think of these two benches. And here's a before and after. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this project. And if you're not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming projects. Thanks and have a great week.